Alright everybody, welcome back to Oof to Premium, and we are going to continue with our 3-camera setup. I'm happy to say we've incorporated the GoPro, and so we have more angles, and developments have gone very well. I have had a few minor setbacks, but without any further ado, let's just go ahead. Let's get this party started, as they say, and see what happens. Starting a new adventure, and if any new subjects come up, I will try to point them out. Always with UFTA, it's a grand adventure, and we never know exactly where the winds are going to take us, right? Alright, so here's the pie. In this particular case, this person has no radishes. That's the lowest spot in the market, right? So yeah, if you'll see here, we have radishes. I don't have that. I don't have that right now, and so I'm just going to have to make do and forego the notion of starting with the undercut crop. Carrots, cucumbers, looking very fine. Okay. Yep. Now we got to pay for that. You know, your other players will keep you honest. It's kind of nice. When you play with other people, they'll keep you honest. So make sure you're following protocol. Okay, here's also. They're going to get up on the board. Yeah, always, as probably most things in life, it doesn't even have to be farming. Most things are very difficult to get the ball rolling, overcome the inertia, right? But once the inertia is overcome, then you become more amenable to whatever activity it is, right? So, trying new things, keeping variety, which is the spice of life, so I hear, in the game. So here we go. This person does have radishes, and they're going to take advantage of that ASAP. So, we already paid for that. Okay. Now, what I can't test in this type of setting, I can't test without actually other people the effectiveness of trading. So that'll have to come later. So, anyway. Oh, and notice, okay, this person has an opportunity. They rolled a 6, right? And so we have the opportunity to sabotage. So this person's going to lose their corn. So right away we might have stepped on some toes, but who knows? Diplomatically, that may cause a little bit of rift between these two players, you know? They didn't have to sabotage. They could have set up a negotiation session, right? But that didn't happen. So there's radishes. Very nice. Oh, yeah. Now it's going to be tit for tat, right? You sunk my battleship. Well, I'm going to steal your radishes, right? Now carrots move down in value. I mean, the radishes move up in value. Notice that all the transactional values that happen in the farmer's market are somewhat, they're not random, but it is sort of a cascade effect where one particular item affects everyone else, right? And so, you know, you make a slight adjustment in a flutter in the market, and it does have occasionally seismic waves that cascade out and affect everything else. I don't know, like ripples in a pool. I use a nice simile. Way back in the day, simile versus metaphor, right? Like an ass. Okay, so here we go. They're going to be productive. Here we have broccoli, carrots, and cucumbers. Cucumbers is going to be our first one. Can't match the right cover crop, but we can turn these 3 in and turn it into something nice. Let's go with spinach. That's kind of a difficult decision, you know. I have an early case where I have a 3-for-1 trade. I could just get some carrots. But what is the likelihood, what are the odds of the carrots being shifted away from that spot? You know, this is a high price to pay for something that could, you know, it's blowing in the wind. You know, needs some old folk music. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that's it. Productive roll. I know what that is. They have potatoes. Let's see. What do we have here? You know, a number 2. I could slide that. I always want to, you know, in my particular case, you don't have to play this way, but I like to try to play offense and defense at the same time. So I'm going to look at that chart, bump that down. Does that help me in any way for the beans to move up? I don't have beans over here. I do have chard, unfortunately. So, well, yeah, I think for the time being, we'll just settle for playing offense. Okay, good enough? Alright, so now we're productive. Okay, 5. It's productive chard. Yeah, I'll be frank, if the copyright license on the music wasn't so stringent, I'd be playing Motown, I'd be playing every genre you can think of. Okay, so here's chart. And chart is going to move down. But we got 9 points. 9. I'll say. Yep, sit. Weak. Oh, new. Yeah, French. There's that French. I forgot all that French. That's new. Okay, so here's spinach. Okay. I got some spinach. Those frijoles goes to the top. Popeye moves down a spot. And that was excellent, according to Smithers. No, not Smithers. Mr. Burns. Right? Good old Mr. Burns. Okay, so here's a timeout. That's offense's first timeout. No, what we're gonna do is they have spinach. They want to remove the spinach, but they're saying, "Hey, let's set up a negotiation." So this person's like, "Get rid of your spinach," and then this person over here says, "You know, ooh, look at my stuff. Right? I got some nice stuff. Why don't I trade them something else? Because I like my spinach where it's at. So I'll give them my top spot. I'll give them this, right? So they're like, hey, you want some corn? And this person's like, yep, look me up, yo. I'll take some of that. So this goes over here. And that goes like that. And that was a successful negotiation. Each party feels like they came away with, they came out on top, or they came away at least better off than they were before. So let's keep coming. Okay. This person's going to plant some carrots. This person plants carrots with the hopes, wishes, and dreams of capitalizing on the undercut crop. You initialize that process. First come, first serve, you get first dibs, and then everyone else has to pay that barrier to entry fee, right? Okay, so there's carrots. That was pretty cool. Uh-oh, so here's another sabotage opportunity. We're trying to figure out, you know, as the game progresses, you also need to kind of be aware of like what the scores are, who your leader is, right? In this particular case, this person has more tokens, but who is likely to score more right now? You know, this person is threatening with the undercut crop. This person is threatening to score a higher score. What's the right decision in this case? You know, that's what the old loop is about. Tough choices. Yeah, I think we're gonna remove their carrots. It's gonna bump up the value. Should be. Yeah. See, okay, so here's an excellent case of diplomatic indecision, right? You have carrots sitting in this spot, right? If this person has the carrots removed, this person over here has carrots, right? And so they're thinking, well, wait a minute. If I remove those carrots, I don't have a shot at the Anarchocrat. Or if I remove them, I would rather they do the efforts at the beginning, and then I have a shot later to maybe sneak under the rug and sneak it out from under them, right? So, in this particular case, I think we'll just let sleeping dogs lie. Unlike Japan, 1941, awaken the sleeping giant. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, okay, so here's spinach. Moves up. What's that old line in Casablanca? Major, there are certain sections of New York that I suggest that you not invade. I think that's still true. Anyway, so here we have, I'm not going to do that. Cucumber kale peas. Here we go. Number 2, carrots. Okay, so carrots. Now we have an opportunity to purchase the adversity card. And what do we have? Unbeknownst to the other players, right? We're being sneaky. Pretty nice card, right? So keep that a secret. Unfortunately, we don't have any protection for our assets early in the game, so we're vulnerable. We're in a place of complete vulnerability until help can arrive later. Okay, so gamble. And perhaps like real life, you may have noticed that, you know, the wealthier you become, the less vulnerable you are. Maybe you noticed this. It's kind of tied into most forms of governance and other things. Okay, so here's a gamble. I'm going to do that. Over here, we have a 6. Now, what do we want to do with this 6? This person is ready to sabotage, but they're also ready to negotiate. You know, whoever's bringing the offense has to make a decision on whether or not negotiating is might lead to a more beneficial outcome than simply bringing the sabotage, right? Or negotiating, whatever it is. You know, you have an either/or scenario, and so what you could do is hit them really hard. You know, this person says, "I don't know what this is, so let's see how valuable it is." You know, we're testing the water. You know, if we're dealing with levels of information where we lack information, we don't have quite everything. You know, we're trying to gather kind of a picture of what's going on right here. So what we have is, if we fish around, we say, "Hey, let's get rid of this adversity card. What do you got?" They say, "Well, wait a minute, this is pretty valuable." And so then based on what you negotiate, you can glean kind of like how powerful this card is, right? So there's kind of an optimal strategy in the premium advanced levels, right? So this is probably a pretty nice card. This person is going to say, "Hey, take some spinach." Spinach is in the 2nd spot in the market. So this person can probably surmise that, hey, you know, maybe this is the right thing to do. We take that spinach away from them. We get rid of something we don't want. Excess radishes. Okay, and this person gets to keep their adversity card and the carrots, right? So yeah, there's kind of an easy way to poke around. Maybe use some logic or something. Or what do you call it? Logical deductions. And figure this out. Try to paint a picture based on the numbers. Okay, so here's a 5. Here's a productive roll. Sabotage. Yeah. Now we're going to put the pinch on them again, right? So we're going to say, hey, let's negotiate again. Or you got to remove those carrots. Remove those carrots. And they're like, I don't want to do that. Why don't you have some more spinach? I mean, this person already gave up spinach once, right? And they're like, I don't want to do that. Why don't we'll give up squash. We're going to give them beans, okay? So we're like, here, have some beans. And this person's like, no, I don't want beans. Because, remember, the game, whenever you're negotiating, the negotiations always favor the person who's bringing the offense, the one who rolled the 6. So they have final say. Do you want beans? You know, and in the meantime, they're gleaning maybe a little information from what they have, right? If you want to be super on top of things, which you can be, you don't have to be. So there's beans. The super observant players out there have those talents I do not have. They'll notice this stuff. So here's the beans, and they say, no, I don't want beans. So then I'm like, okay, I'll give you squash. It's one step up. And you're like, okay. But now notice in the negotiation phase that the person who's doing who's bringing the offense, they don't simply get to look at stuff and then pick what they want. Okay, so that's an important point to remember. Do not do that. It's not in the rules, and it's not. That's not the intention of the creator. Wow, as Miss Piggy would say. Okay, so there's squash. Okay, so here we go. Cucumber, kale, peas, radishes goes. Try it. 6. Now, also bear in mind, notice how a little transaction like that had seemingly inconsequential, but it still moved cucumbers and chard, and that affects 4 items, right? So you can look around, when you do something like that, you can look around at other players and then, you know, make an inference or a deduction and figure out, hey, wait a minute, you know, maybe I can disrupt 2 crop combos, right? So you gotta be a little savvy about that. We're thinking I'm Henry VIII, I am, but not really, because he didn't get along too well with women. Okay, so 6. Sabotaging, they've already been sabotaged. We're going to put the heat on them again, and they're going to have to either get rid of their spinach or face the consequence of la guillotine. No, I don't. I don't have enough time. Okay, so here's a timeout. This is an experience you might have in real life. Who knows? This is when you're asset wealthy, but you're cash poor. Your liquid funds are like non-existent, but your assets are like just outstanding, right? It's a weird place to be, you know. What do you call it? The hollowing out of the middle class. This is kind of what we're talking about here. You know, I'm wealthy, not really. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm wealthy, not really, right? So here's a gamble. I haven't gambled. I can't do it because I don't have the liquid funds. So it's just a question of not, at this particular time, being able to generate the funds needed. Okay, so yet again, here we have sabotage opportunity. So the plot thickens. Yeah, so it's very interesting. We haven't grown wealth at any point, but through negotiations, we've acquired resources that were are going to set us up for future opportunities, right? So that's where the social engagement, the successful negotiator, manipulator, well, whoever, is pretty good at that type of stuff, might shine. Okay, so here's... It's always kind of a letdown, you get the carrots up and go, the undercut crop up and going. You get it up and going, but you don't score big right away. That's kind of that's the balancing effect. You put it out there for others, but you're the one, hopefully, that's going to walk away the winner in this particular case. So it's a very, downside to being the one who initiates the undercut crop is you kind of lose a turn, basically. You're harvesting a very low amount, whereas you could have had more score. And that's one of those, I took this road, rather than this one, there's a fork in the road. I wasn't sure which one to go down. And, it's kind of hard once you start down this, once you start down the dark path, I go in Star Wars territory. You take one branch rather than the other, then you're always wondering, like, hey, should I have gone down this road? What's that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow? It's kind of the same deal. We're going to live this life, and then here's the other life where we're not sure. That's kind of a complex philosophical conundrum there. So here's a fork. In this particular case, yeah. At this point, we're happy with what we got. Be happy in your work, according to that guy on the bridge of the River Kwai. Yeah, I'm going to pepper some movie references every once in a while. But only good ones, not ones that suck. Okay. I'm sorry. It's hard to make a movie. Anybody that makes a movie, it doesn't matter if it's tanked or whatever. It's hard enough just to get the damn thing out there, right? Get it distributed, get it seen, right? So kudos to you if that, you got B movies, it doesn't matter. You got something out there, and that's worth celebrating. Okay, so here's, even if it is Howard the Duck. Okay, so here's 12. Let's go with, or Ernest Saves Christmas. Okay, so this person's gonna do something cool. They're gonna buy the harvester, and they're gonna capitalize on people trying to harvest, right? Okay, so we have the harvester. Everything looks good. And they're going to disc. Notice how, this is really interesting. They have two actions, right? I bought the harvester. Next action is to disc. And the reason I want to do that on this turn is because I want to initiate, I ran out of tokens and I have to initiate that tractor return. Do that immediately, right? So I want to get that up and going. I need funds. So then somebody looks at my stuff, they do, and they say, you probably don't need to do carrots. Right? We're going to take away the carrots because this person is a threat in a big way to get that undercut crop up and going. Yeah, I love that song. I'm on the hill after, I'm on the hill after, don't put the blame on. Okay, so here we got 3 crops. Return 3 crops previous status. Unfortunately, they must do that. 5 is productive. What are we looking at here? Yeah, so they want to put the carrots out. 5, 1, 2, 3, and now here's the first real drama of the game. Right. Well, we've had negotiation drama. But now we have some drama and suspense because we're trying to figure out, well, okay, how are we going to stop them from getting those carrots? And lo and behold, look what's happening in this corner, right? We have this adversity card. Right? Very big deal. So, notice how this didn't get negotiated away, right? If this had gotten negotiated away, it's a different game, right? Completely different game. But because we have the passive threat over here that can bring the offense onto other people, we're sitting there. It never got marauded. This never got marauded, and so we're looking pretty good, right? Okay. Okay, they're going to cultivate and harvest as they can, but notice now they have to pay them. Okay, finish on the wrong one and lose 11. Check it out. This person rolled a 6. They don't even have to use the adversity card. They can just up and sabotage those carrots. And once again, carrots are losing value. You know, this is 60 points. Now it's 40. So, huge drop in value. Okay, but they haven't done their turn, so got to make sure in real life, your farmer. There's like little plates that they put in the cedar. It's kind of cool. They have to be changed out. And they have specifications for planting distances because each type of plant has a different, they're temperamental. They can't be, 6 to 8 inches mostly. If you get too close, bad things happen. And then if you get too spaced out, that is not an effective use of the land, right? Land or resources. So, you know, what is it? Goldilocks. The third bowl of porridge is just right. It's not easy to do that. So, failure is an option. Okay, so there's that. Because I don't walk on water. I don't walk on water. Here's another cool point. We've reached the end of the first growing season, and look who's still sitting on an adversity card. They are going to be rewarded for an outstanding job. And here's where I would insert the applause, the clap line. We can do that later because of COVID. Disaster. Okay, I don't know what to do with all this. So always whenever there's marauding, pillaging, sabotaging, chicanery, whatever you want to call it, you bring that on to others. You always start at the top layer, and the top layer of protection is usually those marker tokens. Always in 5 token increments. When you're peeling the onion, that's how it works. It's always in 5 token increments. Okay, gambling. Always got to weigh our options. You got to make sure after you do the checklist in UFTA should always be actions and then activities. Well, I mean, you can do them in either order. But generally speaking, you take care of your actions and then you do a checklist. Make sure those activities, if they're still dangling, one of them would be playing the adversity card. I want to do that right now. Okay, but that's all. Oh, I can't do that. Notice how I can't do that? It's another important point in UFTA. I can't do this because the tractor audit just happened. And since the tractor audit just happened, it means no further actions or activities are available. So instead of moving that broccoli from where it was, it's got to stay put. Right? Very important point to notice. Okay. No. Okay, so here's the prime, the tension mounts in UCTA, and here's a case where the tension is ratcheted as far as it'll go. Very important decision to make. This person just scored big. They're going to be hard to beat unless we make a really good decision right now. We have limited funds, so we can only plant one item. So what's it going to be? Let's go with broccoli, carrots, and cucumbers. Let's go with carrots. Okay, so here's a teachable moment in UCTA, all right? We got a wonderful opportunity here. We have 10 tokens on this adversity card. We just received it because the season started over, right? Now, in this particular case, what we can do is we have the thank you tokens. We can protect this asset, kale, by liquidating this adversity card. Now, notice that we can't liquidate everything. We're not playing the adversity card, we're simply liquidating. And the rules of liquidation allow us to take off 5 tokens in 5 token increments, or more. It doesn't have to be in 5 tokens, but if you get down to 5 tokens, you do lose that adversity card. But that's another issue. In this particular case, we have the 5 tokens, and we put it on here, and we also want to extract that 5 tokens and put it on the kale. So now we have Protect Net up on the kale. Everything's organized and protected out there, and we got protection on the adversity card. So both assets are covered, right? So that's a very good thing. Okay, so we got that figured out. This person has a very difficult decision. This person has an extremely important decision to make themselves. What are we gonna do? We could go for 2-crop combo, or we could make a purchase right now. Our assets are 17. A trading house is in our orbit. We get the trading house. I think at this point we just want to get stuff out and going, right? So 2, 4. And then we're going to plant 2 items, beans and radishes. Wow, look at this. So we got beans and radishes. Unfortunately, neither one is, we don't have the option. It's not on the right field, right? And look at that. Okay, so that's gonna end the game, right? Sudden death. So that was great timing on their part. Now, here's a great another opportunity to explain maybe the mysteries of in-game Inuktitut. We have radishes and beans that just got planted. This person, they rolled the 5. They get to, they initiated final harvest, but they get to tidy up loose ends, and whatever actions and activities are available on the last turn, they get to play. So they're going to go, yes, please. So we planted these, but we're also going to, oh, okay, so here I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I did my 2 actions because I disked and I seeded. So there's no further actions available, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping we could do that 3rd step and cultivate. Beans are up to bat. They're just going to get harvested at face value, at half value, because they were not cultivated. So you get 6 and 3 is 15. No subsidy available. A good way to start, finish the game. This person over here gets to harvest, and they're very lucky because their kale is ripe and ready. Not on the right spot. So that's 11 tokens. Ooh, this will be an interesting game. Very interesting game all around. This person gets to harvest. Squash. They never got that undercut crop, unfortunately. And squash is unfortunately only 1 token. Okay, so that completes the game. Now we're just going to go ahead and tally up final scores. So 47, 28, 15. That seems a little bit of a spread, but not really. It's really just 1 or 2 harvest difference, right? Kind of came down to the end of the game there. Yeah. But a pretty good overall game, and we illustrated some new concepts there, or forgotten concepts. And so, yeah. So I think the takeaway in this particular case is we had some tough decisions we had to make about 3/4 of the way through the game, and it looks like this player came out on top. Negotiating featured heavily in this game. Skillful negotiation can make a huge difference. It can put you over the edge in a game of Ukta. So you might want to keep that on the table and understand, you know, when you get in the trenches of those negotiations, you figure out, like, well, you know, how do I retain leverage, and try to you know, make sure I'm coming out. I don't have to come out on top, but I at least need to be even, right? On top or even. That would be a good way to go. So, all right. So that takes care of this session of Ukta. I hope you learned a lot, as I did. I always do every time. So thank you very much.